Hey friends, Jim Shannon here. I'm here with Pastor Allan Lorenzana. He's from Honduras, and Allan and I met in Costa Rica at our recent regional meeting for Latin America. And we sat up one night till about 2:30 in the morning talking, and there were a couple of things that came out of that conversation that I walked away with that I was so impressed with it and it stuck with me. And Allan was coming through Dallas, and we decided to get together. And so there's a couple of things we talked about that really stuck with me. One of those is that you said that you had hosted a bunch of short-term trips, and you were able to contrast and compare the success or lack thereof of different short-term models. Talk a little bit about what we talked about.
Well, I planted my church, the church I pastor, 18 years ago, all right? And we have had short-term mission trips ever since. We had groups coming all the time, but many of them were not very well trained in what they were about to do, you know? I'm not complaining in terms that they come and do good. You know, many of them bring with sacrifice, you know, whatever they have. But we were looking, as we are into church planting, we were looking for groups of missionaries that knew better than we do what we were trying to do, what we were trying to accomplish, all right? That's very scarce. Not many organizations that are mobilizing short-term groups have an idea about how to make disciples, plant churches, and help us out in that focus, you know. So we have had groups that come from Europe. We have had groups that come for 15 days. We have had groups that come for 3 days, for a week, you know, all kind of groups. Well, and recently we had a huge group, and they were savvy at disciple making and at church planting. But somehow, after that, we had our first E3 group, E3 Partners group coming. And we really had a great learning experience from that group. You know, I want to honor Sam Nugent, though, because he led that group to Honduras. And he is so good at this. You know, we really felt that we had that hands-on learning experience with the whole group that came with him, because he brought others in his team, you know, that also knew what they were doing. You know, so we have had groups that are good at evangelism, all right, but they don't know how to do after the person says yes, all right. We have had some groups that are kind of good with some discipleship curriculums and things, you know, one-on-one and others, but they don't know how to start a church out of those disciples being made, you know. But I think E3, they are using these tools, the same that we are being trained, you know, to use. We made a great partnership in that trip, and we learned a lot of what we only had in theory in our minds, you know, which I found is very different to have a theory than to have the practice, you know. So I think you're doing a great job in that subject and that matter, you know, to teach the local church how to do it.
What did that trip look like? How did the team organize itself? What targets did they go after? How did
One of the things that strikes me like different of the others is this was a medical team, okay? So they had some medical, some doctors, medical personnel, nurses, and so on. But that was kind of the bait, you know, that brought the crowd, you know. And one of the things they did, which was different, is they were not focusing on covering the whole population in the city or in the neighborhoods. So the medical team went to one of 5 communities, one each day, all right? But we left one team of evangelists from the missions group, plus some locals that were trained in advance of their coming, you know. So the local church has skin in the game too, you know, and have personnel there working alongside with the missionaries on following up, because the team will be back home here in the States in no time, all right? Yeah. But if nobody is there to follow up, you know, nobody that has sweat, you know, That's why to go to the homes and talk to the people and share the gospel and pray for them. So the thing is, the teams, evangelistic and discipleship teams, stay 5 days in the same neighborhood. So they have the chance not just to share the gospel, but also to disciple 3-4 days the same people that say yes to Christ. And then we saw a lot of baptisms, but I mean many, many baptisms the last day where we celebrate, and say farewell to the group, So that was very different of what I have seen before. Because I have seen
So instead of going wide,
they went deep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that was new for me, even in the way I practice it, don't go around and make a lot of recent converts, So if you have somebody that says yes, focus on him until he's able to multiply and make another ones. So the growth doesn't come because you do a lot of job, because you go wide, but the multiplication comes because you go deep.